Lost in the dark, searching for something more. Then suddenly the world collides with the presence of God, eyes lifted in awe, confronted by holiness, truth, and love. When God reaches down, it's not rejection, it's invitation. Held in his hands, the world finds peace, purpose, and love. This is World Meets God podcast with Jar Campbell. Raw, real, no sugarcoating, just truth and love. Stay blessed. Hey y'all, welcome back to World Meets God podcast with your host, Jar Campbell. This is episode 1. Um, Again, just to reiterate, this is just me sharing what God has been teaching me in real time. This isn't about perfection. It's about obedience, healing, and growth, and just God meeting us where we are. Today's episode is about the spirit of offense, what it looks like, how it sneaks in, and how God showed me how to recognize it and release it. Um, One thing that I realized is that you have to be able to be corrected in heart, not offended. People have to be able to tell you things without you getting upset. And it's not going to always feel good. Correction doesn't always feel nice, but we still need to be able to accept it despite how it makes us feel. Um, just because you don't like what someone has to say doesn't automatically make it offensive. A lot of times people aren't trying to hurt you. They're literally just trying to help you see things from a different perspective. They aren't being negative. They aren't bashing you. They're just being truthful. And truthfully, sometimes the truth hurts. It's not always going to feel good. Speaking from experience, like one time I was saying something and I was talking about my dog, and basically I was like, my dog, he just so nice and friendly. He always just letting anybody come up to him and whatever the case. And my friend was like, so he's like you. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. She was like, you be giving people access to you who don't deserve access to you, and you be doing this and that. And I was like, I'm a little appalled because what do you mean? What do you mean? And I was like, I don't do that. In my head, I'm just like, I'm being nice. Like, I'm just being kind. And I was like, she really tripping. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized she was right. I do give people access to me who don't deserve access to me. I do people please. I do things that I shouldn't be doing. Things, though everything she said is stuff I need to work on. So I was offended. I ain't gonna lie, I was, because I'm sitting here talking about how my dog needs to learn to not be so friendly and not just because I wanted him to be a guard dog. Baby, you can't guard and protect me if you just out here being all willy nilly and friendly with everybody. And she was like, that's how you are with yourself. That hurt, I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm not even guarding or protecting my own heart or my own peace. Like, I'm just giving it away and everything else. Like, there was some truth to what she said. And it made me feel some type of way. Um, so, correction is not always easy, but it's necessary. And correction also doesn't mean rejection. Again, correction does not mean rejection. If someone is speaking to you from a place of love and care and you receive it as offense, that's not always about what they said. Sometimes it's about how you're filtering it. And it really just means you gotta check your heart. Because it really does go back to heart posture. Like, we're so easy to project on other people from our trauma or our own knowledge. Like, they can say something, but because we are where we are, we're not as healed as we think we are. We're going through what we're going through. We take it some type of way. And it's not even how they meant it or, their intentions. I want to reiterate that it goes back to your heart posture. Asking God to revealed to you what needs to be revealed. Like whenever you hear something, even if you don't like what you hear, ask God, is this something I actually need to hear, or am I just being offended and being defensive? Like, whenever I hear something and it just kind of hit my ears a little different, and I'm like, but then I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me sit with this. Let me reflect. Is this something I actually need to hear? And I'm feeling this way because I'm reacting out of trauma or something unhealed or a trigger. Because truly I do believe that's why we get offended or be offensive or defensive, however you want to put it. It's because we're responding out of an unhealed version of ourselves. We're responding out of hurt. We're responding out of something we got going on personally. And, it's crazy because that's really when I learned, like people say it all the time. Well, maybe they don't. But it's like how people treat you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And like, I would say that, but like, it's clicking now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. Like, if someone says something to me, okay, maybe they could have said it better, but a lot of times if I feel some type of way about it, it has everything to do with what I got going on, what I'm dealing with, what emotional state I'm in, like whatever the case may be. So it's like, instead of being so quick to get upset with the next person or whatever the case may be, like, do some self-reflecting. Like, for real, like, okay, they said this, it made me feel like this. But why? Why do I feel this way? Because a lot of times acceptance is hard for us. Like, because sometimes I can think a little highly of myself. I can. Because I genuinely think I'm a good person, But it's like, I also pray and ask God to keep me humble. Like, keep me humble. Because the way I'm so raggedy and messed up, but God, that's really all I can say is really but God, because if it had not been for him, hey, glory. Oh, hallelujah. But no, in all seriousness, if it hasn't been for God, like, I ask him all the time to, like, renew me, restore me, refine me, like, heal my inner man, like, mold me, shape me. And sometimes that causes pruning. And sometimes that also requires God to show me a mirror. Like, this is what I see in you that you don't see in you. This is something you need to move. You got a little pride right there. You got a little anger right there. Yeah, you got some resentment. Yeah, these are areas you need to heal. But sometimes I can't see it because of my unhealedness, if that makes sense. Like, my perspective is distorted. And so oftentimes when our perspective is distorted, we do project onto other people from our lens. Like, again, it's not them being negative or being rude or unloving or whatever the case may be. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just how we take it. That's literally it. That they're not being mean. They're not being rude. They're not judging you. They're not criticizing you. They're loving on you. And we're called to love on one another. And people are like, oh, well, you're judging me. You're judging me. No, babes, I'm not judging you. I'm letting you know what I see. They're letting me know what they see. And they're correcting me. They're helping me grow. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't know if we don't know. You don't know until you know. And once you know, you know. But it's like you have to be able to accept it and receive it. You can't just be getting upset and irritated and angry and ready to cut people off because they did X, Y, and Z and made you feel this type of way. And that's also why communication is important. Like, you have to be able to operate past your offense. That's extremely important. Like, if someone does something to offend me or whatever, or maybe they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm offended by something someone does, that's the better way to put it. All I gotta do is talk to them. Like, even if it makes me upset or hurt my feelings, I can be like, hey, when you said this, I felt XYZ. And we can talk about it. It can be like, oh, well, that wasn't my intention. I was trying to say this. I understand. But even then, like, we need to be able to move past the offense. Like, move past the uncomfortable. Like, we need to be able to have those conversations. So it really does go back to your heart posture. Like, heart posture and perspective, they go a long way. Like, when I started seeing things from the lens of God versus the lens of me, like, it just changes everything. Like, even with me learning who I am in Christ, like, learning my new identity and everything else, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, I just really wanted to reiterate that. And if any of this made sense in some way, shape, or form, if it resonated, if it got you thinking, like, ask God to help you sit with it, to help you reflect and help you to receive what you need to receive. I was always told this, like, chew the meat, spit out the bone. If it applies to you, it applies to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But 9 times out of 10, it applies to us, and we just don't want to accept the fact that it does apply to us. But it's okay, because we're not perfect. We are growing. We are learning. Like, it's okay for someone to be like, hey, this ain't right. And we need to learn to be okay with that. Like, that's the whole point of community too. Like, I feel like that's another reason why people struggle with community, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, so I pray that God soften the hearts of the people hearing, watching, listening, like, just, and if it blessed you in some way, shape, or form, share it with someone else who can bless them too. Until then, y'all stay blessed.